Hello and welcome to the Overcome Yourself podcast. This is Nicole, your host, and I'm super excited to be finally bringing this to life. So this podcast is inspired by my up and coming book, which is probably also going to be called Overcome Yourself. I'm still talking to my editor about that. And I would like to use this podcast. What I want to do is I want to start interviewing other entrepreneurs, other business owners, other creatives who have been able to overcome themselves and build businesses of their dreams. Because that's kind of what I've done. That is what I've done. And I want to help other entrepreneurs do the same. So I want to make sure that the stories are out there, and that I can share with you what I have learned over the last 10 years. I would also like to give you guys the opportunity to sign up for the pre-sale list so that when my book goes on pre-sale, you'll be one of the first to know. And you could take advantage because I'm so excited. Like, I wrote this book, honestly, it was last year when I wrote it. It's taken me a while, but rereading it now this year, I had to take a break because I was building a business and it took up all my time for a few months there. But now that I've gotten back to the editing, it's kind of crazy because it's like I'm learning from myself. So I'm super excited to get out into the world, because if I'm learning from me, then I hope that you get to learn from me as well, and that you can take the lessons, the heartaches, the mistakes that I've made, and make them mean something. Because if you don't have to make those same mistakes, then you can be building your business faster, and you can have more fun, and you can make more profit doing it. So I'm super excited. So what is my book about? Yay. Okay, so there's three main sections. In the first section, this also goes with everything that I'm doing right now. So this is a whole brand that I'm bringing about. So we have the book that's going to be coming out. I'm also working on a course, on a program that's going to be kind of self-paced, and it's going to be based on everything that I've learned. And I also have the one-on-one coaching that I have available. So really, I want to be able to help entrepreneurs at any level that you're at, whether you are ready to invest your time or your money. I want to be able to make sure that I can help you. And so I want to have resources available for each stage, because I've been there. And, sometimes I just wish I had someone to reach down and grab me and help me up. And that's what I want to do for other entrepreneurs. So overcome yourself. The first thing that we're always going to talk about, it's kind of like, I call it the entrepreneur's secret weapon. And to me, it's the foundation of everything that we do in life, and especially as entrepreneurs. And that's gratitude. So there's so much to talk about gratitude. Gratitude and perception, gratitude and overflow. It is, like I said, it's the entrepreneur's secret weapon. Gratitude is something that we've got to learn to use. We've got to learn to develop it during the times when everything is going very well. When it's really easy to be grateful for things and you're kind of like, that's kind of the moment where it's really important that you reinforce the habit of practicing gratitude. Because when you get to the phase in your life where things aren't going so well, and we all have storms, right? So that's something that we all have to kind of like be aware of. You can't always be anxious about it, but you got to be aware it's going to come. And when we are in those storms, that's not really the time to be building up your gratitude muscle. That's really when you're going to need it. And so it's really important that you start building up that gratitude muscle right now. You've got to learn to celebrate even the smallest things that happen, because every little thing, even the tiny things, strengthen up that, I call it the gratitude muscle. And it prepares you for your bigger wins as well as for the storms. Okay. Then the other big thing, I've also been thinking about this a lot because I've been securing spots in interviews and in other podcasts. I'm super excited. And they're like, what are your 3 talking points? What are your 3 main talking points? And so really these are it. So the first one is gratitude, the entrepreneur's secret weapon. You guys are getting like a sneak peek behind the scenes. The second thing that I really like to talk to entrepreneurs about, and so those are like the first few sessions in my one-on-one coaching program. That's going to be the foundation, the first few sections of the course that we're working on. Then it's, and you've got to understand, you've got to really, I call gratitude the foundation, because the next part, if you haven't really practiced gratitude, is really going to be kind of difficult to do the next part. And so the next part is learning to find the super strength that lies within your weaknesses. And this one can be fun. This one can also be kind of scary. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, but it's really important that we adjust our perspectives as far as what we consider our strengths and our weaknesses. Because it wasn't until I really came to terms with the things that I considered to be quote unquote my weaknesses, that I realized that those are the strengths I had to lean into. What do I mean? When I was younger, when I was in school, I remember when we had our report cards had three categories. And so we didn't just get 1 grade on the report card. We got graded in 3 areas. So it was a letter, a number, and a letter for each class. And so the first column, the first category, was our academics. So what grade did you get in academics? Then the second column, it was either 1, 2, or 3, and that was effort. And then the third column was conduct. Okay, so my greatest weakness on report card day wasn't really the grades in the first column. My mom was more focused on the effort and the conduct columns. And so for me, the toughest one was the conduct. Because why? Because I talk too much. I just talk too much. Like, I talked to the people next to me. The teacher would move me. I'd still be talking. And for a long time, I had it in my head that talking was a weakness. And I couldn't talk. So why is talking a weakness? There was 2 reasons why talking was a weakness. And I didn't realize this. And so I tried to not talk. That didn't work. So number 1 is that you talk too much, and you're talking to the wrong people. If you're talking to someone that doesn't want to listen to you, it's going to be a problem. And number 2 is I was talking about the wrong things. What does that mean? Well, it goes back to gratitude and perception, gratitude and overflow. But I want to mention overflow here, because what goes into you is what comes out. And so if you are watching TV that's gossipy, if you're reading, like the magazine columns talking about the celebrities and how they're like us, if you are, talking about your friends, they're, I don't know, whatever it is for you, or if that's what you're listening to, that's what's going to come out of you, right? Does that make sense? So, like, you are what you eat, right? Similar idea. So, I wasn't really taking in any useful, relevant information. And so I had nothing really substantial to talk about. And so, really important here, real quick, side note. I've heard it said, I don't remember who said it, but it wasn't me. I didn't make it up. Somebody said, poor people talk about other people, or poor-minded people. I adjusted it. I'm paraphrasing, whatever. Poor-minded people talk about other people. Middle-class-minded people talk about events. Wealth-minded people talk about ideas. So that's why I mentioned, if you're talking about other people, if you're taking in information about other people, that's what you talk about. And And so you kind of get stuck in this loop, and it kind of gets you nowhere, right? So when I switched and I started investing my time and my money in myself, in reading and going to conferences and investing in coaching, now I'm taking in new information. And now I have something that's actually valuable that I can talk about. And if you haven't noticed, this whole podcast is me talking. And so I solved those two problems. And so talking was no longer my greatest weakness, because I had something good to talk about and I found an audience who actually wanted to hear what I had to say, right? And so in trying to kind of not talk, right? Like, that's something that comes very easily to me. So anything else that I tried to do, it was kind of like I was working against myself. And so when I was able to adjust my perspective, be grateful for this loud mouth that I have, right? For the ability to actually speak. There are people who might not be able to get up in front of a room and give a presentation. Like, that scares them to death. That's not really something that bothers me. Like, I've done that before without giving it a second thought. And so instead of being, oh my God, I'm someone that talks too much, I switched my perspective and I realized I just had to find the right people to talk to and the right things to talk about. And so spending the last 10 years, I mean, all I've done is read books. I hundreds of books. They're actually sitting behind me. I don't even have the space on the bookshelves anymore. They're just whatever. I'll get into that later. But when I adjusted the information that I was inputting into my brain, the information that was coming out is different. And so now there's something good to talk about. And I don't have to work against myself to actually do the things that I need to do. Okay, then the third section, the next thing, one of the big things that I've had to learn to implement, and it's actually a tiny thing, is really the success habits. And that's why I came out with the success habits tracker. I love the idea of a quantum leap. What is a quantum leap? It's when you go from one place to another so fast that you don't even know what happened. And sometimes being in business, being an entrepreneur, it can feel like a snail race, and at the same time it can feel like a quantum leap. So how do we create quantum leaps within our lives? And super simple, it's tiny success habits. So these aren't big habits that we have to implement. It's the tiny little things that we do on a daily basis. Again, let's go back to perspective. One of the things that I've learned in reading, one of my favorite things, productivity lessons that I learned, I believe it was in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Steve Covey, I think, talks about, instead of time management, we've got to learn to priority management. And so creating these success habits is not about time. It's not about saying, I'm going to spend an hour a day doing something. No, it's about performing these tiny actions that are going to get us big results. What the heck does that mean? Okay, so in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, when he's talking about priority management versus time management, he talks about finding, the chart where it's like a quadrant, and in the top left-hand corner, things are important and urgent. In the top right-hand corner, it's important but not urgent. And in the bottom 2 are unimportant and not urgent, and so we totally ignore those. But a lot of people, I've heard a lot of coaches talking about how you have to stay in the urgent and important category, and this is a huge no. No, they haven't read the book. So there are things that are urgent and important, but our goal as entrepreneurs, our goal as successful people is to get out of the urgent and important category so that we can live in the important but not urgent category. What the heck does that mean, Nicole? Okay, so important and urgent are things that have like a deadline, like of today, and they are important. They will move your business forward. Things that are not urgent but are still important may not have a due date of today, but they are still important to moving your business forward. This can also be applied to other areas like health. And so it's learning to create these little habits that help us avoid the urgent and important. Like we're always going to have some things that come up that are going to be urgent and important, but our goal is not to live in that area. That's how you get burnt out. That's where stress is. That is, you are reactive. You are only reacting to the things that are happening around you. And that's not fun. That's not a good way to live. It sucks, right? And so we want to learn how to get into the important but not urgent category every now and then, dipping into the urgent stuff, but making it making the habits so that things don't become urgent. And one of the examples that he uses is like with our health. This is super simple to understand. And as entrepreneurs, I know we're guilty of this. This is one of my things. So I'm talking from experience here. But we know that working out and eating healthy is important. But usually it doesn't become urgent until we have to go to the hospital because something happened. And then suddenly these being healthy and living a healthy lifestyle becomes urgent and important. Now, one of the things Steve Covey talks about is, what if we implemented the habit of working out before it becomes an urgent issue, and then maybe we can stave off that urgent issue, and it doesn't have to become an urgent thing. And so kind of the same idea in your business. You should be prospecting. You don't prospect until you run out of money. Now it's urgent and important. And so we have to learn to create these tiny little habits in our day, so that we can move out of the urgent and important category and not have to be reactive to our lives and to our business. So that's kind of like the big overarching themes, I guess, of everything that I've been working on. And I'm really excited to bringing it out there. I'm working on a Dream 100 list so that I can see which interviews I can get for you guys. I want to talk to the people that I quoted in my book and see if they will allow us to interview them so I can bring you some awesome stuff. And I will let you know when I've already got several speaking engagements scheduled. I've already started recording this week, so I will let you know when those become available. And I guess that's it for today. Okay, so summary. Gratitude, finding your gratitude of attitude. Oh my God, no. Finding your attitude of gratitude. Building it up before the shitstorms hit, so we have that muscle strengthened up and we can use it. Discovering the superhero within what we considered our weaknesses. And building up our daily success habits. There's so much stuff to talk about with this. So I'm so excited to be bringing you this podcast. All right. I guess I will see you next time.